let's start the topic. You know, we already have it on the board here behind the screen. India is expected to cross 100 million outbound travelers in the coming years. So, from your perspective, what changes are you seeing in the mindset and preferences of Indian travelers compared to, say, a few years ago? Mr. Christian?
Hello, everyone. Thank you. We definitely see that the travels from India are more experience-driven. So people, they really want to have unique experience, once in a lifetime thing, what they want to explore in Switzerland. Then on the other hand, we see that longer stays are picking up as well. So they do maybe mono Switzerland, or they combine it, for example, with France. But they stay longer in Switzerland, and that's what we see, for example, as well with the sales of our Swiss Travel Pass, which is our pass for the public transportation. So the best seller is about the 6 or 8 day pass, so we really see that they want to stay longer, and then of course they can also experience more destinations, get into the culture, and explore different regions as well in Switzerland.
Mr. Dinesh, are longer stays being noticed there as well?
Yes, I sort of share what my colleague from Switzerland is saying. I mean, we've had a tradition with Indian travelers. You know, we are very close to India. Our Indian travelers have increased substantially last year. They stay longer. They want to stay longer, and it's not just, they don't just come because a Bollywood film has been shot. It was like this, and it has evolved now. They want a lot of internal experiences, which Mauritius offers: skydiving, water skiing, golfing, etc. Weddings also are quite encouraged in Mauritius. But I think the Indian traveler, like the overall trend in the world, is becoming very sophisticated, very choosy, very peculiar in what they want to do. So which shows that, you know, Indian travelers are more and more traveling around the world. So yes, we're seeing this evolution, and it's very interesting.
Mr. Gary, I would like to ask you, so India continues to be a priority source market for many destinations. How are you strengthening and evolving the narrative around your destination, Cayman Islands, for today's Indian traveler?
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for having me here today. It's really great coming from the Caribbean, being someplace else that likes spices as well. So I've not had to ask for any salt or pepper or hot sauce to add to my food, so I really appreciate the cuisine here. For us, I mean, being here is our first step. Education and awareness. The Indian market is quite new for the Cayman Islands, and I think for us, seek first to understand before being understood. So there's a lot of education and connection here, but also as well finding out what the market needs and connecting with the operators here. So this is our second year at OTM, and showing that we're committed to the market, showing that we're here, is, I think, some of the things that we're doing, and naturally as we start to evolve our strategy, but we're very early in our Indian strategy. The other thing is we truly believe what the Cayman Islands offer is something, I mean, everyone's going to say there's something completely different, but we all think there's something completely different. But we have all the things that you can check on the box. One of the things that we have recently launched is our new campaign, Welcome to Vacay. And we truly believe it's the vacation that vacation wishes it took. So there's all these conversations about itineraries, see this, do that. But the one thing that we've learned from our research that people are looking for is true time off. And that is something that we believe we bring to the table, in addition to the great beaches, in addition to the culinary scene. But the Cayman Islands in itself, I think, offers something that a lot of us are looking for after we've checked all the boxes. And we're here to educate the trade and educate the operators on what does that look like and how to sell the Cayman Islands, but also the opportunity as selling a premium destination like the Cayman Islands offer you to trade, and what that means for your clients and what that means from a commission perspective, because we all want to make money.
Absolutely. Mr. Islam, I would like to ask you, Indian travelers are traveling younger and very much more frequently nowadays. Which travel segments are you prioritizing right now for Uzbekistan particularly? You know, for example, luxury, experiential, family, weddings, or MICE, of course. Why and which one, which segment?
Thank you, Shreya. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Namaste.
And I'm really pleased to represent my country, Uzbekistan, and everybody knows it's located in the heart of Central Asia. And the tourism of Uzbekistan has been really booming the last 10 years. And especially after our second president, His Excellency Mr. Shavkat Mirziyoyev, has prompted and initiated as tourism is one of the growing economies, not only from the economic perspective, but also social and cultural perspectives. It connects people, it connects cultures, it connects all the people around the world. And regarding the question that Indian travelers are traveling more younger and fasten and frequent, it's a really good question and very one of the main topics of today's destinations, how to handle and what kind of products they can provide, they can offer. And as we know, most of them are traveling, like Indians are traveling with families, with corporates. In Uzbekistan, we have a lot to offer, and one of them is adventure tourism combined with culture. And also, we are in the process of developing weddings. For example, Indian people love organized weddings outside. And we have a lot to offer in this perspective, especially in beautiful sceneries of Samarkand and Registan, or in the historic streets of Bukhara, or living museum in Ichankala in Khiva. And also, the cities are offering lots of modern facilities, like new hotels, like international brands are being opened in Uzbekistan. And in this regard, we are working very hard to develop, to improve the services within all segments, like transportation, guides, restaurants. And by the way, lots of Indian restaurants you can find in Tashkent today, in Samarkand, in Bukhara, in Khiva, which are the most famous Silk Road cities. And as you know from the history, we have lots of boundaries with India and Uzbekistan, as these locations were one of the main stops locations on the Great Silk Road. Today, we see a lot of young generation is also traveling, and also one of the very developing sectors is educational tourism. So lots of Indian students, researchers are coming to Uzbekistan to do master's degree, to do high degree research works, and it's also connecting two countries in terms of not only tourism but also education, medicine, and healthcare system. And regarding the statistics, the numbers could say a lot to us, could mean a lot to us. And last year, we received over 12 million people to Uzbekistan. And in our national strategy of 2030 of Uzbekistan, we are planning to bring more than 25 million people around the world. And I hope Indian market will be the number one place in this regard, and we are very pleased, very grateful, and very happy to receive Indian travelers. And we are not like a single service offering country. We are multi-service, rich with a rich history, rich culture, amazing cuisine, which nobody can refuse. interesting festivals such as Silk and Spice, Melon Festival in Khwarezm, or Bakshi Festival in Surkandarya in the south of Uzbekistan, or like Horse Festival in Jizak regions, and Art and Crafts Festival in Fergana Valley. And we would be welcoming all of the Indian travelers to visit once in a lifetime to Uzbekistan and enjoy this beauty. And today, this show is giving a lot of insights and trends that we could understand and we could develop better. And we are thankful for the organization team of Outbound Travel Market of Mumbai here. And I hope after the event, we will take into consideration of the on-demand services and topics. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm sure Indians would love to be number one in Uzbekistan in terms of being the number one tourists. Ms. Nawal, I would like to ask the same question to you. How is Malaysia, which segment is Malaysia prioritizing right now when it comes to Indian travelers specifically?
Okay. Thank you, Sharia, for the question. I would also like to address that we do see the Indian travelers are evolving. We're seeing more of the younger generation that is coming to Malaysia, partly because of the visa-free that Malaysia and India has, given, make it simplify. And the second thing is connectivity between Malaysia and India. We have more than 200 flights weekly coming in from more than 20 cities from India. So the younger generations are exploring beyond Kuala Lumpur. So the gateway to Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. And all this while they've only known Kuala Lumpur, Genting, all the nearby cities, but now they're exploring beyond Kuala Lumpur, which is, we have direct flights from Bangalore to Langkawi, direct flights from Chennai to Penang, so they're exploring more of a different destinations that Malaysia have to offer. And apart from that, we also want to focus on, on the experiential tourism of Malaysia, so they can actually come in and fly into Malaysia and hire a car and ride on their own. So we want to encourage more of a fly and ride packages for the new experiential Indian travelers. And we are also looking at wedding as one of a big segment of tourism. So this is where we want to position Malaysia as one of the ideal wedding destination for the Indian travelers, and showcasing all our different destinations, all our facilities, the vendors that are capable in holding a wedding in Malaysia. And apart from that, sports tourism also play an important role. We have recently began exploring cycling for the Indians. So if it's only starting with smaller groups, 40 cyclists, and then now we've developed the North Borneo cycling package. So they're actually coming to Malaysia and cycling for about a week, and just getting to know the destination, going from point to point and seeing the culture, seeing the destination. So these are all part of the experiential activities or experiential things that they can do in Malaysia. So and we've seen the growth of Indian travelers from 2024 to 2025, about 14.6%. So we've reached 1.5 million Indian tourists for 2025, and 2026 is our Visit Malaysia year, and we're hoping to get more than 2 million Indian tourists coming to Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That cycling package, that sounds really intriguing, really interesting. Ms. Sheetal, what about France? Where does the Indian tourist stand there currently?
Good afternoon, bonjour, and thank you for having me. So as far as France goes, I think India has been a market that has grown steadily over the years. It's been a consistent market, if I can call it that. We've clearly seen a very strong, I would say, difference between the pre and post-COVID times. I think ours is probably one of the few industries that still talks about COVID because it impacted us like no other sector was impacted. And some of the things we've really seen that have changed as far as the Indian traveler goes is there's been a comeback for sure. We've seen a resilience for sure. We've also seen that the source markets have diversified and multiplied. We're clearly seeing Indians coming from all over India, and not just the big, sort of metro cities. The other thing we're seeing is, of course, a shift in seasonality. The days of the Indian summer only are gone. I'm sure all my colleagues here agree. We pretty much see an influx throughout the year. So that's another big shift. The biggest shift, I would say, is that we've gone from just being a part of a European itinerary to becoming really a mainstay destination where they're spending anywhere between 8 and 15 nights. I'd love 18, but for now it's 8 and 15 nights. An expanding footprint across France, most definitely. So yes, there's Paris, of course, but there's the region, then there is the Riviera Provence region, then there is the French Alps, of course, after they've been to the Swiss Alps. And then there's all of France, that they're discovering, including the wine regions and all of that. So it's maturing very swiftly. We're definitely seeing a younger audience, a more discerning audience. Like everybody else said, I think experiences is at the heart of what the Indian traveler wants today. And so long as I think the destination resonates with that, we see the footfalls. We've seen over 600,000 Indians in 25. We've pretty much come back to our pre-COVID figures, pretty much. But I think what's more interesting is that we're seeing a more value-driven tourism than a volume-driven tourism, and that's what we want to work towards. We have an ambition to become the most sustainable destination, but we're now in 2030, and this is very much in sync with that. They're going to more offbeat places. They're also looking to upskill. They're looking for culinary experiences. So I think in a nutshell, there has never been a better time for France to showcase itself in India, because the narrative today is more authentic than ever, because the Indians today are really looking to explore France for what it truly is. So more than adapting, adopting, reinventing, we're just showcasing who we truly are, and that's what the Indians are very happy to discover.
You mentioned tier 2 and tier 3 cities, how France is trying to focus on that as well. That was my next question, actually. How are you planning, or what's the strategy to pulling more tourists from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India?
So this is, in fact, our second edition at OTM. One of the reasons we chose to come to a platform like that, because we always did our own showcases all these years, is to be able to have an outreach pan-India. So that is definitely a step in that direction. I think we definitely championed that cause to our entire ecosystem back in France to explain that when you are dealing with India, you must have a pan-India strategy. We genuinely believe in that. When I used to go to France about 2 decades ago, they used to call it Les Indes, which is the Indias. And I think they were right, because it is just that. We're talking about many Indias. It's not just one India. It's not one reality. It's not one persona. And so I think we need to adapt to that. And what we're doing also is to work with all our partners in the B2B segment to ensure that we have representatives from all of the country attend all our showcases in France. We've got mainly 3, which is Destination Montagne, which is the showcase of our Alps, Rendezvous en France, which is our biggest buyer-seller meet, or again, Destination Vignoble, which is completely focused on wine tourism. So for all of these, including the Explore France flagship showcase that we have in India, we ensure to have a representation from every part of the country. And we do the same through our communications, through our outreach, B2B, B2B2C. And this is something we're going to continue to do because we believe in that.
Good to know. What about Switzerland, Mr. Christian? How is Switzerland attracting tier 2, tier 3 tourists from India?
So actually for us, we definitely see kind of 2 segments. So we have the metro cities, which are quite mature markets. They know Switzerland pretty well. Maybe they're returners. But then, if we look at the economic growth in tier 2, tier 3 cities, we definitely see a growth, a high growth in these markets as well. However, I mean, most of the time it's for them the first time traveling to Switzerland. They're coming maybe with the group, or maybe a bigger family group, and then they want to explore the highlights. So actually, our goal is as well to keep these markets longer in Switzerland. So that's why we also focus, for example, we have some specific activities, we do trainings all over India, and we also focus on these smaller markets, because what we want to do, we also want to educate the market about destinations beyond our highlight destinations, because once they stay longer in Switzerland, they also can explore these destinations or choose for a mono Switzerland tour. And then, of course, OTM, I think it's a perfect platform for us. I mean, it's the first time we're joining OTM as Switzerland Tourism. And as we see the importance more and more of these tier 2, tier 3 cities, we have everything together, and we also can offer our Swiss partners these platforms. Because, I mean, when they travel to India, I mean, it's impossible to travel to 10 cities in tier 2, tier 3 markets. So that's why I think we really want to offer that as well. And of course, then we have webinars where everyone can join from India, because it's digitally, but as well the feedback from our markets or from the Swiss partners is as well that they, especially the ones from tier 2, tier 3 cities, these guests, they're willing to spend, and that's what Sheetal already mentioned as well. So we really see that the average spend from an Indian guest in Switzerland, it's increasing, and it's within the top 5 markets then, you know, if we look to an average spend, and India stays for us really important, and that's why we really want to showcase whole Switzerland as well in the smaller markets.
So, talking about, you know, trying to go towards the underrated destinations, I think I would say. What do you think, what would you tell our audience, you know, these are the underrated destinations in Switzerland and this is where you can visit, you know, what are the hidden gems?
I would say, yes, I would talk about hidden gems, because underrated, I mean, we have highlight destinations like Interlaken, Lucerne, Zurich. People want to visit it, and I always say, please visit these destinations, because you really get the feeling. And then if we talk about hidden gems, for example, we have Logs. So, I mean, it's in the region, in the eastern part near St. Moritz, but I mean, it's actually a destination where Swiss people used to go, or we still go, but then as well they see the potential in the Indian market, for example, because we have the peak season from India in May, so we have quite a lot of capacities there as well, and it's beautiful. They have a beautiful lake there. Personally, also, I like the region, the Lake Geneva region, with Montreux, with Vevey, with Lausanne. I mean, beautiful vineyards over there. I think there are many places to visit, and I think the easiest way to visit these places is by public transport. That's what with our sustainable initiatives, that we really want to push public transport, because it's the easiest way, and it's the easiest way as well to explore hidden gems, because you're flexible. You just go out of the train and you just visit some newer places as well.
Trying to get the local experience basically with public transport. Mr. Dinesh, what about hidden gems in your country?
Well, you know, we're an island destination, as you know. I understand you've been to Mauritius, so that's good. Not yet? Okay, so it's time to come. Just to give you the context, I mean, we have a population of 1.3 million. We're a small island. Tourism arrivals have hit a record last year. Actually, our Minister of Tourism is here, so he has led the delegation just to show how we want to push the Indian market even more. So 1.3 million population, 1.4 million tourism arrivals, and out of which at the moment 5% is India. So we see a big scope to grow. Our traditional markets in the past have remained France, because we're a former French colony, as you know, the UK, and Germany. But to go back a bit also, and then I will answer your question directly. What connects us with India is actually culture. You know, my ancestors came from Bihar. I'm fifth generation. I was born in Mauritius. So the first thing is the cultural link between the two countries. And I like to say that Mauritius is one island, but it's many continents. Our immigration into Mauritius have allowed us to have Chinese Mauritians, white Mauritians, Muslim Mauritians, and others, Tamil Mauritians, and Indo Mauritians. So I think the first thing is when the Indian traveler comes to Mauritius, he's very much at ease. So, you know, he will step off the plane, the taxi driver will probably ask him, so which Hindi song you want to listen? So that's quite special. The food is nice, the culinary. But what we're trying to change in terms of destination, and in that we're attacking the Tier 2 and Tier 3. We see a lot of demand from places like Indore, for example. So in our strategy this year, we will go into roadshows into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. We're a short-haul destination for Indians. Indigo flies daily from Bangalore. Mauritius flies 5 times a week, and it's all direct from Mumbai and also from Delhi. We want to portray Mauritius maybe going forward differently. I personally have put on the table that, you know, we want to attack the first-time holidays, those young 25-year-old Indian yuppies, if I may call them. I think the repeaters that come to India, we want to go back to them again. And then there is also the multi-generational families. We're seeing a lot of that coming now. And when they come, you know, so the grandparents will probably be just happy at the hotel. The son will want to play golf. We have some fabulous golf courses, all designed by international golfers. But we also want to be more present, and to be more present is, you know, we need to constantly communicate what we want to do. And this, you will see a big shift, I believe, this year in the way Mauritius is in India. So I think there is a lot of scope for growth from Indian travelers. We like Indian travelers, we love them, you know, and actually a lot of Mauritians also come to India as a holiday destination. So you will see, we will. So if you, yes, 25 plus will start now going towards them. So Gen Z, we want to attract the Gen Zs. And in that you have then to adapt your communication in a way that, you know, it reflects it. So I think there are exciting times ahead.
Absolutely. Mr. Gary, what about Cayman Islands? Hidden gems, what would you like to tell our audience? You know, which places to visit, what to add to the list?
I guess I should start by saying that for us and this panel, it's not whether we can compete for 100 million travelers. I think for us, it's whether we can compete for the right traveler who truly value what we have to offer and become advocates. I think I'm going to take down a bit. I think Cayman is the smallest destination here. We only 90,000 people, so very tiny island. But on that tiny island, we have over 300 restaurants. We're seen as a cosmopolitan center of the Caribbean, British overseas territory, very safe, well-built infrastructure, and over 300 restaurants in that tiny space. So I think everyone in the Caribbean said that they're the culinary capital, but come and try it out. I do believe that we're the culinary capital of the Caribbean, and part of that is the cosmopolitan feel of the Cayman Islands. We have over 130 nationalities living there, and that should send a message of how welcome and inclusive the Cayman Islands are. We're 3 islands in the Caribbean, and you know, you've experienced, and we're not about mass. We're about intimacy. We're about creating a destination that you can truly have space to connect, safety to roam, be able to connect with your family, have your kids run along the beach, relax, not feel overwhelmed. We have great dive sites, great food, great nature, but you know, for us, it's the feeling and going back to what, our positioning of vacay and it's that true time off. Because after you do all of these great destinations here, you're going to be exhausted. And we invite you then to come and rest and relax in Cayman, because for us, that's one of the things that we see that is missing in the segment, is, pausing and relaxing. But also as well, one of the things that we've noted is that there's a confidence that is in the Indian traveler that was not there 5 years ago. And Indian travelers know that they do belong in premium destinations, similar to us. They're sophisticated, they're discerning, and they expect destinations that understand and respect their preferences. And that is what the Cayman Islands does, and that's what we can deliver, and that's one of the things that I would say differentiate us.
What about Uzbekistan, sir? Any hidden gems? What would you like to tell our audience? What they can add, where they can travel to, any offbeat destination or any place that offers something really different that you think Indian travelers would love to experience or visit or see?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. And in terms of unique experiences, as I mentioned earlier, Uzbekistan has a lot of things to offer, and we would like to mention our winter ski resorts, which our most Indian travelers love to visit during the winter vacations. And one of them is Amirsoi, located in the Chimgan Mountains, and it is one of the unique projects in the world, which was done, by the way, with the joint projects with Swiss ski resort management companies. And in this regard, the ski track is about 7 kilometers, and there are 3 different levels, like beginner level, medium level, and expert levels. And within this resort, there are lots of high-level hotels, restaurants, and facilities for our visitors, at the same time which they can get introduced with the life of village in the mountains. And the similar resort will be initiated very soon in the southern part of Uzbekistan, in Shakrisabz region, in the mountains of Hisar, which is 4,400 meters. It's Miraki Tourism Resort. And also in terms of cultural and family experiences, there are families which are doing crafts for more than 400 years, which they offer lots of master classes, preparations, shows, demonstrations, which our Indian visitors, travelers, can enjoy. And also, I would love to make the attention of audience, or if there are any travel agents or DMCs who is doing outbound for Central Asia, in particular Uzbekistan, the RLC. RLC is one of the human-made catastrophes which is happening in front of our eyes. And I see and notice most of the DMCs are mostly limited with Tashkent and Samarkand itinerary, short-day itineraries, and we would love to support, we would be helping if you also extend your itineraries to visit this area which is in the north of Uzbekistan, and to understand what kind of ecologic disasters it can lead. For example, if we don't care about our environment and ecology. But today, with the proper international politics and relations, we see there is a hope to recover this amazing sea, which just 50 years ago was full of water and doing a lot of sea business. As you know, Uzbekistan is a double landlocked country. It's only after Liechtenstein. So we don't have any seaports, we don't have any direct access to ocean. But in terms of unique experiences, cultural recognition, introduction, we would be welcoming you and would say, in particular, Indian travelers are very interested for the detail, for a high quality service, and we would be working on this topic with our tourism committee and with all the joint sectors.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. What about Malaysia, ma'am? Hidden gems, and then the follow-up question with that is, which trade partnerships are actually delivering the strongest or highest ROI for Malaysia today? There's OTAs, there's travel advisors, influencers, destination weddings planners. So, which trade partnerships are giving you the maximum ROI today from India?
Excuse me, come again, which partners are giving us?
Yes, out of OTAs, travel advisors, influencers, destination wedding planners, trade partnerships, travel trade partnerships, with which of these is giving Malaysia the highest ROI?
We're pretty much still working with a lot of the travel agents to bring in numbers to Malaysia, and partnership with airlines, with Air India, with Indigo Air, as well as our own local carriers that are flying into Malaysia, as well as venturing partnership with OTAs as well. So we're doing a lot of branding for Malaysia for the past year, and we will continue to do so, especially venturing into second and third tier cities, which we are going to do post OTM, our sales mission to second and third tier cities, going down south, and we are also, participating in shows, big shows such as OTM, Satay, and so on. So those are among of our strategies in getting in the Indian tourists coming into Malaysia. And the second part of your question.
Hidden gems, yes.
Yes, our hidden gems for Indian travelers, and probably not really a hidden gem, but there's so much more things, destination in Malaysia that the Indian travelers haven't really explored, especially our natural beauty. We have 130 million years old rainforest, and I think this is much, much older than the Amazon. And this is our national park situated in Pahang. And apart from that, we also have the islands of Sabah, Borneo, which is Sabah and Sarawak. There's the indigenous people of Sabah and Sarawak, different culture, and the Indian travelers can actually come and explore, like, how do they live. A lot of people think Malaysians live in the trees, some, but we are quite, we are quite modern, but we still keep our culture and heritage. And so going to these places, for example, Sabah and Sarawak, some of them still live in the long houses in Sarawak, and they practice their culture, and they live together with their families and communities. And there are some who live quite far away from civilization. So these are the kind of things that maybe the Indian travelers can venture and look into, like, hey, this is something interesting. Malaysia is not just about the city attractions, but we also have this kind of different culture and heritage in Malaysia. So because we also have other different races like the Malays, the Indians, the Chinese, we are a melting pot of culture, and we celebrate each other's religion, we celebrate each other's gastronomy, so we eat everything in Malaysia, and we celebrate each other's festivities. So when people come to Malaysia, especially Indian travelers, they will see that, it's quite familiar in Malaysia, they have the Indian culture, but there's also all the other additional things, the cultural heritage that they can explore. And sometimes they don't need to go far. They can enjoy it all in the same place. For example, Kuala Lumpur, you can enjoy most of the different cultures. And immersing in our cultural activities as well, you know, for example, like doing batik painting. So that's also something that is also uniquely Malaysian, hand-drawn batik painting, and participating in traditional activities, traditional games, and also doing traditional dances. So those are the kind of experiential things that the Indian travelers can do when they come to Malaysia. Not so much a hidden gem, but I think there's so much more about Malaysia that the Indian travelers can explore.
Definitely, definitely. Since we are a little short on time, I would move to the last question, and each one of you can answer that. So, based on each of your personal experiences, what is that one key insight that global destinations should keep in mind when planning long-term engagement with the Indian traveler? We'll start with you, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna make it short, but I would say there are three key insights that I'd like to talk about. The first one being what you started with, which is to have a long-term vision. Incidentally, we were just talking about that. I think India is not a one-shot market. It's not a market you should try and approach and expect an immediate return with. That's the first thing. And there are various reasons for that. One of them being it's a very relationship-oriented market. I think we're in a people's industry. We know that. And in any case, it's a lot about soft power in the sort of tourism industry, of course. A lot of hardware as well. But I think that relationship-driven exercise is really, really important in India. The other thing I think would be the cultural sensitivity. That is something that I think is really important with India. Specifically, like I said earlier, we're talking about many Indias. We're also talking about a new India. And so I think from that perspective, the cultural sensitivity, the fact that it's an emotive market, the fact that travel is truly about emotions and, making dreams translate into reality, and so I think that truly is an approach one needs to have towards India, to be committed to it in the long term, and then make sure that you're able to connect with, the audiences. This to me is the most important thing.
Summed up perfectly, ma'am. What about you, Ms. Noel?
Can you hear me? Okay. I think I agree with what Sheetal has mentioned, long-term relationship with Indians, and for them to have a trust in how we can handle things, especially, for example, weddings. They need to know that we can handle all the headaches that goes into the planning. So when we showcase to them that we have all these abilities, we have all these facilities, they have the trust in us. So gaining the trust is important.
So, what about Uzbekistan? How do you think, global destinations can do?
I need to just I want to mention about that when tourism happens, if there is, the first thing I think is safety. So the place should be safe for solo travelers, for group travelers. And the second thing is connectivity, like logistics. If it's offering lots of options to travel, like budget-friendly or luxury, this is one of the key important segment. And the third thing is the food and the understanding of culture. As also Sheetal mentioned, the host country should be morally and physically ready. And the next thing is infrastructure. If there is no enough infrastructure, it's no point to just spread the words like we would like 10 million, 20 million Indian travelers, like other travelers. So infrastructure is also one of the key elements in the industry. Thank you.
Mr. Gary?
I guess for us is sometimes in mass, everyone would think the approach is a one-size-fits-all, and I think there's multiple different ways and markets within India, and truly being able to understand and cater to those different markets. For us, we truly believe about establishing the relationships, because we do believe that the work that we're doing here in the relationship that we're building, that the Indian market will reward us after time once we take the time to understand the travelers and their needs, and not just simply want they're spending, but really understanding what it is that they need. I would say the other thing is, and especially for us from a premium affluent destination, is not underestimating the quality and luxury that Indians are seeking. And so for us, we're not here to compete for mass, and we're not here to compete for volume, but we're here to compete for a specific part of the market that is looking for a destination like Cayman. And that is the one thing for us that we're taking away, is making sure that we understand how to really cater to that market. But also as well, being able to give the resources to the trade, because if you can't help the trade, then they can't help us. So happy to announce that we will be offering a virtual masterclass on February the 14th. It's at 5:30 p.m. for all the trades that are interested in learning a bit more about the destination and how to sell a destination like Cayman. We also compete in the meetings and incentives space as well, and we'll talk a bit more about, we have over 100,000 in incentives that we offer for meetings and incentives, weddings as well. We do a lot of conferences. So we're here to, we know that we're not right for every market in India, and we're okay with that. But what we're here is to really truly serve the market that is right for us, and really being able to understand that and build those relationships and deliver the things that you need to be successful as well.
I'm sure the date has been noted down by the people in the audience here. Mr. Dinesh.
They won't forget his date, it's Valentine's Day, so on the 14th of February for his masterclass. 19th, sorry, I thought it was the 14th.
No one was joking.
No, I mean, we are, they are in the Caribbean, we are in the Indian Ocean, so we position ourselves as a premium destination. Having said this, what I think the Indian traveler is very sensitive, and is very emotionally sensitive in their decisions. They want also, like a lot of other travelers, they really want value for money. I mean, we've seen that it's not only the top-notch resorts, 5-star plus in Mauritius, that they want to go. It's the others as well, but if they go in the 5 stars, then you better have an Indian chef, you better have the Indian food at breakfast, you better have the late 24-hour room service, etc., which we're catering for. I think maybe our advantage in Mauritius is that, as I mentioned earlier on, some of us originate from India, so we understand the Indians. I'm not sure if the Indians understand us, but we understand the Indians. Having said this, there is work we need to do on the Gen Z. And we are actually, as I mentioned, targeting that. We really want to go into that market. And that is continuous communication, road shows. And when you target the communication for the Gen Z, it's not your overall Instagram. It's got to be very specific. You've got to choose the right person that you want to attract to Mauritius. So I think, continuous communication is one thing that we firmly believe in to drive more Indian tourists to Mauritius. Thank you.
Mr. Christian.
Thank you so much. I think my colleagues, they already mentioned a lot. I think from our end and what I've learned in the last few years, that personal relation is really important, and that that's what I'm telling our partners as well. Please come to India and please experience the country, because only then you know exactly how you have to welcome them in your hotel, in your destination. I think this is really important. And as well, have a constant presence in the market. I mean, you shouldn't come only for once. So really do it to a 5-10 years planning for your Indian market, and then you will also have the success. And I think the last thing for us, it's really important that we have the awareness, so as you mentioned as well in communication, on the B2C side, because only if people know about it, they will end up at the travel agent, right? So, and then of course the travel agents should know the product as well. So always a combination of B2B, B2C communication is really important for us, and that we also follow the same strategy, that we communicate about the same destination, because then only you can be successful.
Absolutely. I mean, I think concluding the session with these perfect answers, We all know that Indians are relationship first people. We love our food, we love loving our family, our friends, we love traveling together. And of course, Gen Z, tapping the Gen Z segment is definitely there, including especially the experiential travel. So I think the audience had a great time listening to all this insightful discussion. Now ending the discussion here, the panel discussion here.